Welcome to the John Show with your hosts, John Doogie Clouser.
Oh, what's up, guys? How are you? So we are starting this podcast out a little differently. So what's funny is, like, I had all my lights out, and then I just never lit it. I never did a 3-point lighting system for it because I'm an idiot. Yeah. So what's up, guys? How are you? So we are here on episode 205. You think, it's a pretty good batting average. If that's the case, if that's what happened, I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, how did I not notice this at all? How did I just do? I just set everything up, took a bunch of pictures, and I wasn't like once. I was just kind of like, well, if I just take a bunch of pictures, I'm good to go. And you know what? This is getting kind of annoying. I can't. Oh, that's why I had this clip back here on my back for these earphones, and the clip fell off. It untangled with all the other things, with my shirt. So it's like a clip that clips onto the back of my shirt, and then it keeps like the weight from going back on the cord, so the earphones don't pop out of my ears. Oh, that's so much better. Okay, here we are. That's the thing. I'm back. I'm using these earbuds because I wanted to try them again. It's so weird because I can hear my voice in my throat. It's the weirdest. It's one of the most weirdest sounds. And I'm like thinking, like, there's a way I have to be able to get used to this. I have to be able to, like, maybe if I adjust the mic a certain way and put it here and there and change the volumes on the knobs and the dials, and I could figure this all out. Okay, so anyway, what's up? How are you? I've been able to waste 3.5 minutes, almost 3 minutes of this podcast already. So yeah, how are you? I hope you're doing well. It's something I discovered today. I'm like, I don't want to do my hair, but it's not like cold. So like I can wear a hat, but I don't want to wear a hat because I cut my hair. And so the sides of my hair are short, the sides of my head, the hair on there part of my head. We got there, guys. We got there. It's a little short. So when I wear a hat, I feel like a dork. I'm like, how can I change this? I'm like, I don't want to wear ski hats. I don't want to wear, like, beanies. I'm like, they're cool. I'm like, fuck it. I'll just wear bucket hats. Bucket hats are the best. They're coming back. They're coming back in this house, even though I only have like 3. And then the 4th one I have is almost like a safari one. So it's like you can't really wear that during the wintertime. It's like you can only wear it mowing the yard or when you're about to, like, go play. Maybe be all day outside playing golf. Those are like the only 2 times you can wear that one. Besides that, you just look like a freak. It's like I'm already going to look weird as it is because I always feel like I end up doing like the weirdest things, the weirdest times. And like, nope, this is when I do it. This is when I become an individual. But this is like wearing a bucket hat and then like getting like just a bunch of different ones. That's like my equivalent to getting like a face tattoo. It's easily off, on, over. It's just an accessory. Well, duh, John, that's what hats are. I'm over here breaking down different things because, you just, as someone, it's funny, like, I guess, what are they called? Like third world effects? That's what I call them. Like things that you do that you're like from the third world, or like you have like this weird mindset. And it may not even be from the third world, just like you just have a different mindset and they don't realize that you're making your life way harder and you're making it way more difficult than it needs to be. So normally what I do, I go to the gym, right? It's wintertime. You wear layers. I wear 3 to 4 layers when I work out. It's insane. It's stupid. It's probably insane. It's dumb as hell. I do it because it keeps my muscles warm. And then my muscles are warm, I can lift more weights. It's all a placebo effect, but, I lived in South Dakota. And so trying to lift weights in the middle of winter in South Dakota when it's like 2 degrees and like 8 inches of snow is just a normal thing. It's just normal, just fucking normal. It was just normal, and you find things to try to mentally keep yourself into the game. It's all about keeping yourself in the game because they say football is just football. It doesn't matter at what level it is, which is true in retrospect. It's just X's and O's and just a quarterback, a running back, tight end, wide receiver, and a safety, free safety. Hey, and nose guard. It's all basically. You're not wrong. Weird though thing. One of the weird things, like I have glimpses. There's like 6-man football, there's 7-man, and there's 8-man. I knew about 8-man. Had no clue there was a thing called 7. Until like but the thing is I think it's only one in some states. Let's see this. Let me Google. We can Google this. Dude, it's heavy. Football's heavy right now because there's only 3 games left. It's playoffs. If you don't know what that is, you should definitely Google that. Google football coach playoffs in the clip. It's like, playoffs. It's like, because they were talking about, I think it was one of the Bills, I can't remember the guy's name, but one of the Bills coaches at the time. I want to say it was the Bills. It might have been the Vikings. And they asked him, like, so if you guys think you're going to play like this during the playoffs, like, playoffs? Well, I'd be lucky to win a game. He had this high-pitched voice. It's like that one, and then, like, I'm a man, I'm 40. That was the other one. That's, oh, God, what's his nuts? The Oklahoma State's coach, he's still the coach. This happened, like, 11 years ago. He had a quarterback, and the quarterback wasn't playing that well. And so the beat writers, like, just tore into this kid's asshole. Like, this kid's like 18, 19 years old. He's just trying to play fucking Division I football. And they just rip into him. And the coach was like, hey, guys, I don't like it. I don't like how you were talking. He has like the Southern accent, too. He's like, I don't like how you're talking about my quarterback. My quarterback, he's a boy. He's a child. I'm here. I'm supposed to protect this child. It's like, if you're going to talk some stuff, talk about me. I'm a man. I'm 40. And it was like, what the fuck? Just went apeshit on the fucking writers and the reporters. It was hilarious. One of the most funniest meltdowns. It wasn't a meltdown. It was just it was one of those things you have to do that to kind of get the morale up as well as like get the confidence of your quarterback, because it's like you can tell your quarterback as much as you want that, like, hey, like you're my guy, even though he's like sucking asshole. Like there's eventually a time where that guy's not going to believe that anymore. He's not going to believe that. So like something dramatic has to happen to get that guy to like maybe get his fucking shit in gear, So it's just one of those things, but football's just fucking real hard. Oh, what were we looking for? Is 7-man. Oh, let's do this. Is 6 and 7-man football played in all states? It's very interesting. 6-man football. Think about that. 6 guys on the field. So that you have three linemen, a quarterback, so that's 4, a wide receiver and maybe a tight end, a wide receiver and a running back. That's basically how you're playing it. You're playing 7. I guess it's not that weird because it's 7. It's like basically 7 on 7, but with the ability to run. So I guess it's really not that crazy. It's just a lot of passing. It's just that's probably the reason why those games are so. Well, 1, the passing is probably the reason why the score is so high. But 2, if you do a fucking sweep and you get by that end, you only have to beat 2 more dudes. Really, basically, in retrospect, you only have to beat 2 more dudes on that side of the ball. On the side of the football field. There we go. Let's see here. What states play 6-man football? Kansas, Montana, Nebraska, New Mexico, North Dakota, Oregon, and Wyoming all are part of Canada, and parts of Canada. Man, if you just turn it off right now, that's okay. I understand. Interesting. What states have 8-man football? Of 30 states, there's like, I guess 30 states. and there's 9-man football. Minnesota State High School League, North Dakota High School State Activities Association, South Dakota High School. Okay, those are like the I guess the conferences of 9-man football in the United States. How many 6-man teams are in Texas? It appears that there are 275 teams that play 6-man football in Texas, that's split into 2 divisions. Holy shit. Think about that. Think about trying to like repeat. That's your time. So I came from a smaller division in high school football. So in Missouri, there is 8-man football, and there's class 1 to class 6. So technically 7 classes, right? So I was in the second smallest, the first division in actual 11-man football. Really weird now looking back on it, but like back then, I think COVID, because there's schools that were 2A, 3A that we played against, that my school played against, that now only play 8-man football. That's the reason why a lot of this came onto my radar this year, because those schools, this is the first year that are playing 8-man football. And so like those guys I played against, they're all like talking about how 8-man football is. Oh, I'm just trying to find the goddamn cord. But yeah, so I guess it's not terribly different. I don't even know where I was going with it, but it's just like, so yeah, football is all I've been like really thinking about right now. You know, it's just in the stretch, you know, the home stretch. But yeah, funny thing, I guess this will be the last thing I talk about football, and then we will move on. So, you know, I'm like everyone else who likes a really good conspiracy theory. So I just read one right before I started this podcast. It's called the 49er curse. So there's a 49er curse apparently that's happening right now. That's going on ever since what's his name? Schottenheimer? The guy who's the head coach now for not Schottenheimer, you dumbass. Shanahan. Ever since Shanahan became head coach of the 49ers, there's this conspiracy theory, I guess a conspiracy theory now. So what it has to do with is if you beat the 49ers, but it has to be a certain thing. So it's happened 3 different times so far. If you beat the 49ers 33 to 17, then the next week what happens is your quarterback has a devastating injury and is out for the rest of the season. So it's happened when the Browns played against them. It happened when the Vikings played against them, and then it happened when Cincinnati played against them. It's hilarious. And so if you remember, this is where the conspiracy theory comes in. This year, Lamar Jackson played against them, and if you remember, in that game there was a safety, and the final score ended up being 33-19. 49ers. So if you lose to the 49ers by 33-17, what happens is next week your quarterback gets injured. And so there's this huge conspiracy theory now that there was a time traveler that came in and tripped Lamar Jackson on purpose because there was a safety. And so then what that did was that added 2 more points. And so everyone's like now saying that this is the year for the Ravens because there was this time traveler that came in and like altered the NFL universe. It is hilarious, but it's funny. It's just fun. It's cool to think about because what's so crazy is the fact like how that could happen is that like just weirdly that if the score is 33-17, boom, like next week your quarterback's injured. It's just a funny little thing, but it's all about numbers. So you can do that. You can find that with anything because you never hear like on television. It's like, oh, he leads the league in passing on 3rd and 12 when it's in December. It's like just randomly you just add stuff to it. It's just random situations. So, I just thought that was funny. I thought that was hilarious because it's just it's football. Football's football. What else? What else do we have? What else do I have here? I'm not going to talk anymore about football. Oh, I never fucking talked about this last week. So there's a movie called Saltburn. I don't know. Did I talk about this last week? I feel like if I brought it down, I didn't talk about it because I copied and I paste it and I delete it from the other episode. Maybe did I talk about Saltburn being a weird movie? Oh no, let's talk about something else. I guess I guess I'll just talk about it briefly. Saltburn, interesting movie. It was a British film. This whole movie, it's kind of made to think that this guy, he just went to Cambridge. Was it Cambridge? And he's like from the country, doesn't have very much money, and it's supposed to make you think that he's this guy who is just trying to be best friends with this guy who has a lot of money, and you just kind of see like he's from the different side of tracks, like this. They show examples, blah blah blah, of like how he is like just completely different than these people. Will come to find out, blah blah blah. The whole thing twists and turns. Anyways, it's a weird fucking movie. He ends up fucking a grave, which was weird. There was another couple weird things that happened, but like the other, like it was very well written in that sense, but it was just, it left you weird. It was well written in the beats of what it was. Weird of just like the contents of like the character and like those things that they did. So, but if you wanted a movie that like the actor who played it, the main character, he was nominated for an Emmy for best actor, best leading role in a feature film. I believe that's what it was. So, yeah, interesting movie. If you want to check it out. It's just these might be the these might be the last week of these goddamn earphones. What else? What was it? Oh. I was thinking about this the other day. Don't you think like eating an apple is like the weirdest? Eating an apple with a knife is one of the weirdest ways that you're never, if you see that, you walk into a room and a guy's just eating an apple with a knife, like it's cool like alone, but then when like there's no way you're gonna like be able to tell that person what to do if with that you can tell. I'm like, 18 minutes. I'm into 18 minutes. So it's like, I should just get this done. This thing is almost over. 12 more minutes. 12, because 12 minutes is closer to 12 minutes left is closer than only having 24 minutes left. Something like that. But yeah, like there's nothing you're gonna do to tell that man. He's nothing. That's like the most craziest way to eat anything. Like you think about eating like I saw a video once because in the royal family, they don't eat bananas with their hands. They eat it with like a knife and a fork. And this guy showed you how to cut a banana open and peel it with just like a knife and a fork, which was fascinating. Very fascinating. One of the weirder things, the funniest comment I've got today, I got a really funny comment that I haven't gotten. I normally get really weird things. So like most of the time, like I post a lot of random weird shit on Instagram and Facebook just because it's stupid. Who gives a shit? It's not real. None of that shit's real. As long what I'm doing is not real. it's hilarious. And so because there's usually like two things I usually get. Like people are always usually mad. They're like, are you anti something? And I'm like, no, I'm just posting a video because I think it's funny. Because I mostly feel like it's all satire, it's all tongue in cheek. Or they're like, it's not cool to make fun of something like that because, there's people who believe in that. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. Like, I have things I believe in. You can make fun of what I fucking believe. I don't give a shit. I really don't. Like, at the end of the day, like, just screaming into the wind, guys. Just screaming into the wind because the Do you guys have any idea that the sun's gonna blow up in like 4 billion years? Is it 4 billion or 4 million? Either one. It's terrifying to think about that. And you're over here complaining about bullshit. But I got a really funny really funny comment today, because every once in a while I'll get someone who writes something funny, and it lands in my inbox, and they're like, what makes me laugh the most is thinking about that you have to download that video to then post it online. And it's just like, yeah, you're right. That is a funny thing that I do. It's one of the weirdest little things. Like I screen record some of the weirdest little videos. Like, then sometimes I see some of the weirdest shit too. And then I'm like, I don't want to ever see anything like that again. Like, I can see humans get electrocuted. That's a lot. One of the biggest things, like, so in India, you see a lot of people getting hit by trains, animals getting hit by trains, and then people getting electrocuted because they're climbing onto trains, and then they get electrocuted. And you're like, well, no shit, dude. Like, and it's hilarious because it's like, and it's like this weird music. And like, what's so funny is because it's such a off language compared to like any of the romantic languages. So it's just nothing. There's nothing. Your brain is just sitting there trying to find some sort of like connection, some sort of familiarity to a word or a sound, because that's what all these is. These are just sounds. Languages is sounds. It's not real. It's not real. None of this is real. Isn't that weird? Oh, none of it's real. Like, maybe I'm a time traveler. Maybe I was the guy who went back in time and traveled. Would I have traveled back in time, or would I have just traveled forward? No, it's impossible, right? No, it's impossible to. What they say if you build a time machine. And so imagine 2024, this year we build a time machine. You can go forward in time, but you can't go backwards in time because there's technically no road for it. Or is that how it is? You can't go. There for a brief second, I sounded like I know what I was talking about. Like, oh, really? Maybe we could go with you on this one, John. Maybe we could go with you. And then I just immediately was like, questioned it. Because is it so? If you build a time machine, you can go forward in time. You can go in the future, but you can't go in the past, right? Let's Google this. If you made a time machine, that sounds like that should be like this. That should be like the title of my first musical, and it's just about a boy going back in time and trying to find his dad. Just something completely sad, and like Disney would like, yes, we want this, and the boy would be gay because that's what it is. Or I should probably be a girl, because it probably would be better if it's a girl and she's gay and she's trying to go back in time to find her dad and she can't find her dad. If you made weird. If you made a time machine, can you go back? Is it possible for a time machine to go back in time? You cannot use a time machine to travel hundreds of years into the past or future. The kind of time machine would only be in books. God damn it. That's not what I... Wow. Traveling is either wildly difficult or absolutely impossible. I don't think... Yeah, you can't travel back in time, but you can go forward because you can bend time. Yeah, so I was right. Dumb. Well, why did I go there? But yeah, it's just these are the thoughts. That's one of the deepest thoughts. I'm like, well, if you have a time machine, because I know what it was. It's like it's just, yeah, interesting, because it's like that thing, like thinking that this whole thing is not real. Like, we live in when you have deja vu. They say when you have deja vu, what's happening is that you accidentally crossed time paths with another you in a different universe and a different level of time, a different space and time. And so, like example, like this is January 25th, right? So in the alternate universe, if I had like déjà vu, I might have interacted with someone on December 25th of 2025. And so what happens is that you have like, oh, I remember seeing this, and then boom. Another creepy thing is that like sometimes you can interact with that other thing, and then it was so funny. Like I was so fucking high once, and I was really high at work a couple years ago, and I had just had read about this, and I'm like, oh, this is really fucking fascinating. So when you're baked, you're just like everything's just fucking awesome. So when I was at work, I was just doing just regular. It was just like working in a retail store, and I was just folding some clothes, and I found this hat, and then this kid came up, and just like little tiny Latin kid, spoke perfect English, and then like I saw him, I gave him his hat, and he's like, "Oh, dude, thanks so much." And then like, it was like perfect English, and what's so funny was that like I'm like, "Oh, that's so funny. That'd be hilarious if that was like a me in a different universe." And then like I looked around, and he was just gone, and I'm like, that'd be funny. And that was like the deepest I got with it, and that's about as far as it should ever go with a conspiracy theory like that, until it's actually proven. I guess it's not really conspiracy theory. Those are actually real. I guess it's, what is it? What do they call them? Faux science? Is that what they call it? Like false science, fake science? Yeah, just like those weird hypotheses, and then like how like black holes work, and like bending of time and such. But it's fascinating. It's just fun stuff to read. Because the thing is, like what I tell you guys, just read something. It can be comic books. It can be sports. It can just be, conspiracy theories about football. Just dumb, ignorant things, because that's all it takes. That, and I guess having a dog. And for men, this is another thing I read, having 2 nights out with your boys. That can help you live longer, better, I guess. I don't know. Maybe some people just enjoy doing stuff by themselves. I don't know. What's so wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Huh? I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. Well, guys, I don't know. I have like a minute 15 left on this before the thing expires. My clock blows up. So, I guess if you've gotten this far, God, I don't know how you did. Thank you. Like, comment, and subscribe, I guess, if you want. It's all up to you on that kind of stuff. I'm going to just be over here making noise, doing another fucking 100 episodes of this shit. I talk about it like that, like I don't like it, but I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me any. I hardly excrete any energy making these. So anyway, I will talk to you later. Read a conspiracy theory because they're hilarious. Hilarious sometimes. Like the moon and the craters are all the same size. It's weird. It's odd. If we had enough time, I would talk about it right now, but we don't. Maybe on the next episode. Maybe. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later. Gator. Adios, friends.